Hey guys, this is 97 Lego Maniac with the most anticipated showcase video of all time. Well, that's before Batman v Superman, Legends of Tomorrow, the X-Men, and other figures I'm making. But, you know, this is probably my last Star Wars The Force Awakens showcase video. I'm not planning on making any more because I honestly don't care about Maz Kanata or other figures. I can't really think off the top of my head because I basically got every main thing down. So here we have the first order. Now before I continue, I have something to say, and this is kind of like a mini rant. Alright, and I have to talk about the YouTube comment system and the comments I've been getting. Alright, to those who are used to my channel, you guys know that I do make long showcase videos for a reason, because the reason why some of my showcases are long is because there are a lot of minifigures in it. There are some cases that it's pretty short, just like the Deadpool, or it's like the solo showcase, or if it has like up to 3, those are usually at least like around maybe at most 15, but at least like 5 minutes. So that's understandable. But you know, when I have like something like the Star Wars, like Force Awakens, like the original cast members, that's like almost half an hour. If you guys don't have half an hour to watch the video, that is totally fine. You can like watch it later, or you can just watch parts of it and just give me what do you think about some of the figures that you did saw. You don't have to like post a comment saying no one has time to watch your video, because really, instead of like commenting the actual figure, you have the balls to say that on my video that I worked hard on to try to please you guys, and yet you're commenting stuff like no one has time to watch your video. I mean, it just... Alright, I get it if you guys don't have the time to watch the video, but you don't have to be a dick about it. Or try to make a joke, because that's just kind of disrespectful. I will talk about more of about the like YouTube comments in general for my next rant video, which but that will be uploaded on my second channel instead. So yeah, and you know, there are still some people who accuse me for copying Ross for like false reasons. I say to those people, go watch my rant video about the problems with the Lego custom community. So that's basically it. So all I'm trying to say is, if you guys have nothing intelligent to say about these figures, don't comment at all, please, because it will spare us a headache. Alright, so I appreciate you guys stick to the end of this video, because I have 2 extra figures I want to show to you guys, and they are related to Star Wars The Force Awakens, and you don't see them up here, but you guys will find out at the end. So I have Phasma, General Hux, Traitor, the Snow Trooper, basically, and the First Order Officer, Heavy Trooper, Squad Leader, the regular Stormtrooper, the Flame Trooper, and the TIE Pilot. The TIE Pilot I just completed like a few seconds ago, because I just remembered I forgot to paint the First Order symbol, and I just hit the table. Whoops. So, let's continue with the video, starting with Captain Phasma. Captain Phasma is just like any other Stormtrooper that I'm going to make in this showcase video. So therefore, I'm going to spend more time on her than the other Stormtroopers I made, like the different variations, because she's basically borrows the same exact concepts that I had. So start off with the helmet. What I did for the helmet, I basically outlined all the gray markings black, so that way the black can stand out, because the only thing different about her actual outfit itself, besides the color scheme, is the markings on her helmet. Those are the only thing different. And so I did that. I think I portrayed it well. And plus, what I did, since I can't do chroming or anything like that, as much as I want to do it, I just couldn't do it. Chroming is difficult. I mean, it's not like I haven't tried, but just looking at it, the process of it does seem, look like it's going to be a challenging time. And it's not like I can buy a chrome figure, because those might cost like a lot of money on Bricklink or on eBay. So I decided to go with Legos, because I think Lego did a good job with their printing, and it totally makes up for it. And I like Phasma like this, and I don't want her super shiny, and plus that's gonna probably affect the lighting so much, because my lighting in all my videos are already bad enough, since I only have like a desk lamp that glows yellow. So there's nothing under her. She never takes off her helmet anyway, so it's like, why bother putting a flesh head underneath, like the Gwenly Christine head, I believe that's her name, I don't care. What I did, I had some weathering effect with gunmetal, silver, and I think I also used like brown or something like that. I forgot. I made this figure a long time ago. Like, I started these figures like on December and I finally just completed it just a second ago when I just remembered this TIE pilot's arm. But yeah, and yeah, these figures were done for a very, very long time, but it's just there's no time for showcase. To start with her torso, and I'll remove her gun, and basically I'm gonna take off the cape because I have to or the pauldron, sorry, because I need to go over something about the back, because the back has something very special too. So the front, basically these pouches, the 4 pouches on top and 4 pouches on, the 5 pouches on the torso and the 4 pouches on her belt, those were actually all sculpted. And I painted the belt black all around, and you can see the 2 sculpted rectangles on the back, and you can see the clear rod piece I used to be act as those back canister that the stormtroopers had. I also painted the dot black because I think it'll look better. The arm design here is basically the exact same thing for all my stormtroopers, so I won't go over that again. So you can see all these arm detailing designs. And for the hands, I just had to paint the hands. I mean, because their hands are basically, if you look at a stormtrooper, it's like half black and half white, mostly black on the inside and mostly white on the outside. But it's just, you just need that pattern to make it look complete. Without it, it just looks incomplete. And you guys know that painting hands are actually a very challenging thing, because if you paint anything on the torso or the arms, most likely the paint won't scratch off. But for some reason on the hands, it always peels off for no apparent reason. Even if you're just looking at it, it will just peel off for no reason. I mean, it's that weak. And so what I did, I used sealant, and I'll pull it off here. I showed this a couple of times in my previous videos, but here's a gloss varnish. I get this at the art store, AC Moore, Michael's Arts and Craft, whatever. Anything is good. And the legs are very simple because it's basically painting the black lines on the bottom to continue that pattern and paint them black all around, including on the inside. And there's one sculpt thing I've added, which is basically the side here. And her legs are actually was washed with silver to give it kind of like the worn battle effect. And for a gun, and I caught that. It's basically a modified Lego Group's gun with have some sculpted bits, some little Lego parts like for the scope here to extend it, and basically the only difference is between this gun and the Stormtrooper's gun, besides the I'll grab an example here. Like the difference here between the Stormtrooper's gun and Phasma's gun is that she has this giant rectangular brick up here, like where my thumb is. So yeah, so that's the only difference besides like the color scheme. So that's basically it for Captain Phasma, and she's probably she's not my favorite minifigure I made, and she's not even my favorite character because she didn't do anything at all. And hopefully she does more in episode 8. But she did look really cool. She does look really cool indeed. I won't argue against that. But yeah, that's Phasma, and I already spent like almost 5 minutes on just her. If the custom Lego minifigure community is like the Star Wars universe, then I would be General Hux ordering to blow up a planet filled with annoying kids online such as Ross fanboys and other annoying people I find on my channel. So yeah, here's General Hux, and if I have to basically choose my top favorite minifigures from the Star Wars line, it's definitely General Hux, because I really love how this guy turned out. He's very simple, like in terms of like the design, but he's extremely effective, and he was actually one of the difficult minifigures I had to make. And that's to go over like the painted details. Basically, this arm says it all. Just looking at this arm is fully painted by me, and the silver line did not look as well as I thought. In fact, the silver lines, it's probably one of my worst painted job, and even the symbol doesn't look that great. But if I lean it closer to the camera, hopefully if it focuses a little bit, you can see there are some lines, like the blacks are a little bit uneven. But do I care? No, because what totally makes up this figure is the face. The face is all painted by me, and I basically based it off of Legos. I actually saw the actual General Hux figure in person at Toys R Us, because you know how like in Toys R Us or Target they had like they would have like Lego sets on display, but in a glass box. Well, I saw General Hux in there, and I realized that I probably emphasized the mouth a little too much. So it's not like Legos. I mean, I tried to replicate it like Legos, but I think it turned out okay. And to go over this is a Cape Manus trench coat that I modified just a little bit, because the thing about Cape Manus trench coats, they're cool, but sometimes the sides extend a little bit too far, so I have to trim that. And I kept the color this color because I think it just looks better with it than without, because it looks strange. Yeah, these long collars work for certain minifigures, and General Hux, it definitely works for him. And I really love how his uniform looks like. It's really simple. Like we've seen these types of uniforms before, and I'm not counting like World War II. I'm also counting like a previous Empire design. And you can see he has the tunic, and no, this tunic strap does not wrap around his body because there's really no need. I mean, he wears this trench coat all the time. I know that I've done it for Luke, but the reason why I did it for Luke is just if I wanted to. He looks good if you display him with or without it anyway. Plus, if you just want to give him a cape, you can still have the complete tunic. But for Hux, it seems like it's not necessary at all. And yeah, so this was all sculpt. The belt buckle was sculpted, and you can see like the belt area. That's actually not fabric. That's actually just a minifigure body. And yeah, because his belt needs to stand out in some ways, and having it shine like that is just a better way to go. So that's basically General Hux, and really love this figure. I could have given him a hat, but he only wore that like once. Apparently for the background, I didn't extend the picture a little bit further so that way it could fill out the whole entire screen. So you're left with this white border. I apologize, guys. So I'm sure someone's gonna post that in the comments saying, "Oh, you're Asian. You shouldn't do that." That's those stupid comments I find. So here's the stormtrooper, the first of the many stormtroopers I painted because I'm an idiot to to force myself into doing this. So here's basically the normal stormtrooper, and he's no different than Phasma. So all you really need to know is that this gun is actually different because it does not have the stock at the end. Because the normal stormtroopers, they basically just carry these like medium-sized guns, and basically everything's the same. The detailing's all the same, all that's the same, and sculpting, all that's the same too. So there's really nothing much to say about this stormtrooper, and there is a black head underneath, and it's a good thing that the Lego group use flesh heads instead of black heads, because the thing is, yes, clone trooper heads are a pain to use, but if you're a customizer like me, it wouldn't really be a big problem because you can definitely you have enough heads to basically make customs. You have a plethora amount of flesh heads, which I think is great, but I do agree that using a clone trooper head isn't really the good way to go. I think the head that I just updated with Jay Garrick, I can't pull it off right now, but yeah, it's basically the new Bruce Wayne head. Some people might know what I'm talking about. I'll show it later on when I show you my updated Jay Garrick later in the future. So yeah, basically that's the normal stormtrooper, and we can continue with the next one. Here we have the First Order officer, and basically, like I said before, he's no different than any other stormtroopers. The only difference is he has the pauldron, and he doesn't really have this like ammo pack going on. The reason why I added that because it looks different for our officer here, and plus Hot Toys, they gave him this feature. They gave him like this little accessory, so I thought, why not put it there? And I think it actually looks good because I believe in the original trilogy, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the officers do indeed have these ammo pouches, and I believe, and if I think by just adding that, even though it wasn't in the movie at all, I think it'll be a nice throwback to the originals. So to take that off to give you guys a better look at it, so you can see it's all painted here. It's really small to paint, and it's not my best outline work for great details. And this gun is basically like Phasma, but it's basically, it doesn't have the same detailing designs, and it doesn't have that giant square block. So that's the gun. And the back's the same, the hand detail is all the same. Everything is basically the same for this dude. So we can continue with the next figure. I believe the squad leader only showed up in the Battle of Jakku, and that was the beginning scene. I don't think we saw him anywhere else. I saw the movie like a couple times, like maybe online and on theaters. So, and I still can't wrap my head around it if I remember seeing this guy anywhere else. If you guys see him outside of Battle of Jakku, please let me know in the comments and where. So this is he's basically the same exact version of the officer, and what I did, this is actually a custom-made pauldron. I had a white cape, a Lego white cape, and what I did, I basically cut it up into the shape of a pauldron, and I basically painted over it. So there you have it. So he's no different than the the other stormtroopers. I keep saying that multiple times. And here's his gun, and I decided to give him a little pistol instead because stormtroopers do indeed carry this on their sides, but you know, very few of them use it. So I thought, you know, no, this would be good for the squad leader, because with the position of squad leader, it doesn't seem like you're leading an army, more just like an organized little battalion. So I think a pistol definitely does like help this figure out. So there's a squad leader, and yeah, we can continue. This dude is probably one of the best stormtroopers we've received, other than besides Traitor. And as you can tell, like, this dude is really packed. And this, I did use like the First Order battle pack, you know, the one that has a heavy trooper. I definitely did use that figure, but I modified it in a new way. So to start off, this isn't the front torso. The torso basically speaks for itself. That it's different. Everything else is the exact same thing besides the torso and the gun. So to go over the front detail, basically this is all sculpted by me, and I use fabric accessories. If I can take off the head, I use fabric accessories to make sure that the strap does continue around the back, and it continues like up top of his head, so that way it all connects. So yeah, it was really annoying to glue all this together, and I did paint the sides here so that way you can see that it all connects. I normally don't paint sides, but now I usually do, because I think it does help the minifigure like look like it's actually wearing something. So I think it definitely helps out. I did that for my Superman. I did that for my Batman. I'm not doing it to female figures because, you know, they have the curves, and if you paint curves, you can't really do that. So yeah, that's the heavy trooper, and his gun is a really interesting design. It's basically one of those like long blasters. I basically used the scope of the smaller guns. You use that some sort of a lever. I sculpted some parts on the top, like this barrel here, and I use this like a antenna piece. If you guys know, like the you know, the black antenna piece that moves, I use that all the time whenever I make like little circular objects. So you can see that this is actually acts as a stock. I believe that's like what it's called. So you can actually rest the gun on it. So yeah, it's fully movable, and I really like how this turned out. So that's basically the heavy trooper, and he's definitely had some presence in the film. We see him like more than at least 10 scenes maybe. So yeah, this is a really awesome figure. He just has to get his own background, because this is Traitor, also known as FN2199, also referred to as Nines, and he's one of the riot control stormtroopers, and this is the only scene we see him, and it's like in Takadana when he's yelled Traitor and he takes out the baton. He is the most memorable stormtrooper at all. He's more memorable than Phasma. In fact, I would argue, I want this guy to get his own movie maybe, because that'll be pretty interesting and hilarious. So yeah, he's basically the same exact stormtrooper as before, but the thing is, he has the baton. Now, my baton isn't as awesome as Legomatic 9's baton that he posted recently on Flickr, because the thing is, his baton is functional, that you can spin this around. But for me, it's only in its attack position. It doesn't have a resting position. So yeah, that's basically what I used one of those like Lego nozzle pieces. I basically sculpted the hole in the inside. I cut off the little kind of like a little handlebar thing, and I sculpted these two prongs onto the stick itself. And for the shield is actually really interesting, and what it is, and the piece came off. If I can like just remove that real quick. What it is, sorry, my throat. It is a 2x2 tile, and what I did, I sanded off the edges so it has that nice round, slanted shape, and I sanded off the sides. It's here so you can see like this little nice arch. So that's how I made the shield, and on the middle, well, that was a super glue, and what I did, I used a flex tube and Procreate to basically sculpt the handlebar inside the hole. So that's basically how I made Traitor's shield, and I really love how it turned out. And we only saw him just holding it. We never seen him actually using it, but it doesn't matter, because I think this shield is awesome, and I think this stormtrooper is really awesome. And I'm sure that a lot of people are gonna put Traitor memes like, oh yeah, yes, he died for a spin, Trader Joe's, we get it, okay? You don't have to like keep abusing it. You guys know that if you overuse a joke way too much, it gets old, right? But only I can do it because I'm just naturally an unfunny idiot, and this is my channel, and I can do whatever the hell I want. So if I want to make sex like jokes about Daisy Ridley, I can choose to do so. Okay, so deal with it. So please, I'm actually really serious. Please don't put jokes in the comments. It's just super annoying. So yeah, there we go. There's a little rant of the day, and I will continue that rant later in my second channel. So finally, we're done with the stormtroopers. Now we're gonna go over the different variants of the First Order. The Flame Troopers were definitely the most unique parts of the First Order, because we haven't seen anything like this in previous Star Wars movies. I'm sure some of them, like variations like this, exist like that, probably in the EU or in the cartoons, but guess what? I don't care about those. I care about the movies more. So here's the Flame Troopers to remove the gun out of the way, and that means I have to like detach this part here. So I want to say like Lego did definitely a good job, and this is definitely a fresh new take on making the First Order, because it's like, wow, I can stop making so many goddamn stormtroopers. To start off, the helmet, what I did, I basically outlined the back part, like to make sure that the details continue on the back. And what I also did, I basically gave it a new backpack, and this is a jet backpack. Credits to my good friend Steven. He's also known as Recombricks Custom. He is the funniest troll I ever met. He's like the only excuse who can make silly comments, because I know him well enough for him to do it, and he's a lot more funnier than people who are trying to be funny on the YouTube comment section. So basically, and what I also did on the front, on the torso, these two little straps here with a gray line in the middle, that was sculpted, and these three pouches were sculpted by me. And to go over like his arm, the arm detail is basically all painted. This whole entire arm and hand is painted. Back is all painted. This side of the leg is all painted, and it was definitely a challenge to get these legs right. It was kind of hard for me to find good reference photos for the size of the legs, but I finally got it, because it's the way it's angled is just weird. And you can see the details do continue back. You can see like the little straps on his right leg, and the details do continue on the inside. So yeah, for the stormtroopers, the details do continue on the inside, but it's basically the exact same thing what you would see on the outside. For the flame troopers, it's different. Here's their gun. What I did, basically, I sculpted this whole entire back part, sculpted this top part, sculpted this bottom part, sculpted the tip. And that's basically it. And I painted all that. And what I noticed, like those flame troopers, their weapons basically connect to their backpack, so I don't want to glue it onto it anyway. So what I did, I cut off a lightsaber bottom part of the hilt. I attached a thread, so that way you can connect this together, so that way the weapon's all connected. And that's what I did here. And the weapon back here, basically, and the backpack, sorry, basically this whole entire band is like sculpted. These two like loops are sculpted, and the very bottom part, those are actually Lego pieces that I cut off and modified, the Lego antenna piece, and I painted them. So that's the Flame Trooper, guys, and I really like how he turned out. Now we get to the most complex minifigure in the First Order Showcase. That is the Snow Trooper. These guys are super difficult, and they took me a very long time. In fact, I started this guy on November during Thanksgiving break, but I haven't finished them until like near almost the end of January. And this dude was so hard, and it was a lot of on and off work. And basically I put a lot of effort into this figure. To start like the helmet, there are some like outline details I did paint it. I did sculpted like the little front parts, like ND things, and painted it, because the thing is, Lego kind of misprinted all my Snow Trooper helmets when I bought the set. Basically the spiral on the inside, it keeps getting, it's like moved apart, and it just looks weird. So I end up like sculpting my own and doing it. The arms basically here is all painted. And yeah, that was hard. And you can see I used Lego's waist capes, and what I did, I painted it white so that way it matches. And I painted like the band all around, and I sculpted these two front pouches here. The legs are all painted except for the upper half. All the bottom half is basically by me. All these annoying little lines, those are all painted. and they do continue on both sides, and it is a pain. But what's a bigger pain, besides like the arms and like all these lines and details, and the gun's a little bit different, by the way, because I painted most of it white because I want to make it a little bit different, is this, the backpack. Sculpting the backpack is the most difficult thing I have done, because this, I have to like sculpt it onto like Lego's official like printed for the backpack part, but I just want to make it a little bit different by giving it the actual shape. And I have to say, this is probably one of my best painted work, because if you look at that detail and design, you can see all these like tiny things I had to paint, and it was just hard to like get the shape right of this, and to paint it in that size is just, it's just beyond me. And I'm glad that I actually did this, because it looks really awesome, and I really love how this minifigure turned out. But despite of how much like a pain in the ass this guy took me. And now we move on to the laziest minifigure in the showcase, that is the TIE Pilot. And oh yeah, and I forgot, I want to give a shout out to my good buddy Malcolm again, because he lent me an extra Stormtrooper, and he lent me a TIE Pilot, because you know, the TIE Fighter is, it's ridiculously expensive, and it's not worth that $70, despite that. No, it looks really good, I'll admit. The design is amazing, and my friend has it, and I've seen it in real life in stores, but it's just $70. That's just not worth my money. So he actually gave me 2 extra Stormtroopers and 2 extra TIE Pilots, but I gave each one to my friend because he equally loves Star Wars as much as I do, and he loves Lego, and we're both in the same major, and we're both going to be roommates next year, which is really exciting. And yeah, and so basically I didn't do anything to the head except painting like the gray outline around like the bottom part, because I do that whenever I see like little creases. I just have to do it. I didn't do the outlines on the goggles because I don't feel like doing that. And to remove the head, I didn't do anything to the front of the torso because I think Lego did an excellent job. I would have like sculpted like what I did for Poe, giving like a 3D element to it, but the thing is, I really do love this hose, and I think it's better to just leave it flat. And plus, I was running out of time, and I just didn't feel like doing more. I didn't paint any hand details because I don't think it's necessary for this dude. And I just painted like these first order symbols. You can see how lazy it is. Just by looking at it, you can see how lazily done. And the arm detail is basically nothing. The leg detail is basically nothing. It's just a pouch, and I just paint like black shoes. But one thing I did do that I put some effort in is like basically the pouches on this belt. You can see it if the camera wants to focus here. Come on, focus. There, you can see like the 4 pouches, like they're painted black, and I sculpted. No, sorry, I cut off the fabric parts on the sides because they do have this. So, and I painted the gray outline, and I'm done talking. Yeah, let's just conclude this video. Yeah, that's basically it. I use Apple Barrel, by the way, so stop asking. Now I did say in the beginning of this video, I promised you guys 2 extra figures to showcase, and they're basically like upgrade versions of previous Star Wars Force Awakens minifigures. So who could that be? Well, I decided to why not start with the leader of the First Order himself, and that is Kylo Ren. So I just finished this guy recently, not as recent as like the TIE Fighter pilot, like painting those arms. But yeah, to start with this figure, I know this minifigure is going to have some controversies simply because of the head, and I will go over that. Well, to remove this for a second, I want here, basically, this is a version 3 because you guys remember the version 1 I made that has its own solo showcase, and I made version 2 earlier last year for the first initial wave, the Force Awakens. So basically this figure is entirely a new thing, except the only thing as I kept from the past are the arms, this belt piece, the lightsaber, and his head with a little bit of modification on it, which I'll show you guys later, but it really isn't that much. To start with, basically the top part of the head, this whole helmet is entirely sculpted by me. It is a new piece because I didn't really like how the old one came out. It looked way too shiny because I used gloss paint, and plus green stuff wasn't that kind to me. So I used Procreate for this, and I like the general shape of the helmet on the sides. The front is a little bit strange, and the reason why it's kind of strange because it's just hard to get the overall shape done. I think because I know some people are going to say the helmet looks small, but the reason why it's supposed to be small is so that way the hood can fit. This is not the Cape Madness hood, by the way. This is actually my own cape that I made, and the material I use is not the typical fabric I had. This was actually from a Batman new Batman cape that I cut off because it has a spongy like material, kind of like what his cloak actually has, because his hood and the pauldron that he has does have this like spongy material just like the Batman cape. So I thought, you know, what if I cut that up and try and make my own hood shape? And it took me a long time to practice with paper and the other fabric I had to eventually land on this. Now the only problem I have is there's accidentally a hole because the glue wouldn't work well, and I keep cutting this up too much and it looked strange. Now here's a bad thing. The hood, because the hood is kind of spongy, it does not like to stay in place. I wanted this hood to look something like this, and you can see that looks a lot better. But when you release it, I know some people aren't gonna like this, and I do agree. It's not the best, but I think for what it is, I think it's good. The fact that it looks different than other Kylo Rens out there, so I appreciate that a lot more. And his pauldron here, it's actually the Batman cape again, because you know, in a Batman v Superman, if you buy all the sets you get 2 Batmans. So I basically use both those capes and to make this, and I really like how it turns out. I like the shape of it, and also what's cool thing about it, you can actually fold the hood back to reveal just the helmet, and I think that's a pretty cool feature. Even you can do that for like the head. Here's a closer look at the helmet. Basically you can see it's all sculpted. The silver paint still sucks because my silver paint is just terrible. I'll probably have to buy a new one. Basically what I did, I made the front part longer, and so that way it actually wraps around his head, because his front area of the mouth is a bit longer. So that's what I did there. And his head, the only thing I did was basically change the face just a little bit, because I think what the S part I made at the tip is a little bit too strong. So I basically made that a little bit subtle, and it looks a lot more like Adam Driver than my previous head I used. And you can still display him with it, and it does make his neck a little bit too thick, but I honestly don't think it minds. You can kind of like fold the hood up, and it looks all right. But I'm not gonna do that because what it did, it would scratch his hair, basically. And what I did for this minifigure, I basically used my own fabric to make my own robe, and that's what I did. And he looks really awesome. And it does continue in the back side. You can see the belt, even including on the sides. And I have to credit I'll credit my good buddy Aaron, because he did a good job on a trench coat, and I think it really does make this Kylo Ren a lot better. And the lightsaber is no different. So yeah, that's my first upgraded version of the Star Wars: The Force Awakens, and you guys, so yeah, so that's Kylo Ren. I do like how he looks. I just wish the hood just cooperates properly. It takes a long time for me to like mess with this a little bit to make sure because I do like the general idea. This looks a lot better, but when you just release it, it just wouldn't stay in place. I just hate that. So yeah, that's Kylo Ren. Moving on to the next figure, the last one. And that last one is easily my favorite, and that is Rey. This Rey is entirely new. Like the staff, the legs, the torso, the arms, and all that is completely changed. So I do have the old Rey body. The reason why I didn't like it, because I didn't like the color. And because the color was way too dark, and it's not like the correct color that she had. The legs, the pants are actually not the right color on my previous Rey, and just the hoop doesn't look good. The fabric wrapping all around, plus the back just looks messy. So I decided to completely scrap this. I'm probably going to give this to my friend Andy, because he kept asking me about it. So yeah, what I kept is basically the hair, the head. I love the head and I love the hair. What I did for the hair, I painted it a little bit darker brown because I think it looks better. I'll remove the staff out of the way. I will talk about this soon though. And the front, basically all this is my own design. The curves, the front part, it's not Legos, because I don't have another Rey torso, so I basically have to make my own, paint my own torso for this. So Rey, basically you can see like the hoop is a lot better. The arm is painted accurately, because in my old version I basically painted 2 gauntlets on her arm, and that's not true. she only has it on the left, but for some reason I thought left and right, so that was really stupid of me. And I made a new belt piece for her that does continue on all sides except for this top part, because that's where the curves start. So yeah, and it just looks so much better. This Rey is just so much better in every way. And this staff is awesome because basically this is all cut off using her lightsaber brick, some rod piece, antenna piece, fabric like the two tan parts that looks white, and the strap here. The strap does not wrap around Rey, unfortunately, but it doesn't matter. So yeah, this is an entirely modified staff, and I really like how she turned out. This is probably, and I'm glad that I updated Rey because she looks a lot better, because all my other Star Wars Force Awakens figure look really good, but it was only Kylo and Rey that I just had a big problem with, and I just had to change it so that way they can stand out with the others. So yeah, we can finally conclude this showcase video, guys. Thank you guys for watching. You will tighten these restraints and leave the cell door closed. You read my mind. So that's all I have, guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, leave a like and a comment down below. Follow me on my social media sites because I do post a lot there, often, but not as much now because I am busy with like finals, what am I saying, with midterms and other upcoming art projects I have to complete, so you guys won't really see much videos from me yet. The X-Men showcase might be delayed in a month, maybe. Nightwing, I'm not sure when he's gonna show up, but maybe like near like the first few days of spring break, hopefully. But yeah, but I am super busy and it's really hard. I can't even do the custom minifigure fabric commissions because of the lack of time I have. So I apologize if you guys, if I received your email and I said I will make you a Luke Rowe, but I didn't because I think it's just too much going on right now. I think it's better for me to because my plate's already full. I don't want to add more onto it, so I have to take away some things. That means spend less time on YouTube, probably cancel the fabric commissions, and only do that for very, very, very few selected people. So yeah, I apologize, guys, for the lack of content recently. But education is important, and I have to value that more than YouTube. So that's all, and I'll see you guys later for my next showcase video, which is probably the Batman v Superman. So bye bye.